Brazil's corn and soybean crops are thriving heading into January. We'll take a look at those in just a moment. Welcome back to Your World in Agriculture for December 31st, 2025, as we wrap up this year. Thanks to our sponsor, Imogene Ingredients. Farm markets on Wednesday, December 31st, look like this. March corn closed a quarter cent lower at $4.40. The real damage in the soybean complex. March soybeans settled 14 cents lower at $10.47. Meal and oil also finished lower. Now, what was happening? No new sales from China was bearish for the market. Meanwhile, the funds were liquidating. There were more than expected deliveries for the January futures contract and no buyers. So therefore, we had a sell-off in the soybean market to finish the year. March Kansas City wheat closed 7 cents lower at $5.14. Livestock, February live cattle closed $1.12 per hundredweight higher at $231.60. January feeders finished 70 cents higher at $370 or $350.25. February lean hogs settled 35 cents lower at $85.10 per hundredweight. Now, we take a look at the weekly net sales as of December 18th. This is how it all panned out on December 31st. The corn sales came in at 2.2 million metric tons. It beat the expectations. Also was the largest for this week in 25 years. So very strong corn exports. Soybeans at 1.05 million metric tons of net weekly sales, below the trade expectations. The wheat sales at 148,000 metric tons, within the trade expectations for December 18th. Meanwhile, soybean meal, those export sales came within the trade expectations, and soybean oil, 49,200 metric tons, beat the trade expectations. Let's take a look at what the pace of total export commitments are at this time. Again, this is as of December 18th. So we take a look here. We see that for the corn commitments, again, when you add up the accumulated sales along with the weekly sales, you get the total corn commitments of 49.7 million metric tons. USDA's projection is 81, so we're right around 61% of the projected total for this marketing year. Total soybean commitments at 26.8 million metric tons. The projection, 44.5. That means we're about 60% of the projected total of the USDA marketing year total. Total soybean meal commitments at 8.7 million metric tons. The projection for this marketing year is 17.4. That means we've reached about 50% of the projected total. And for soybean oil, down at the bottom, 257,700 metric tons. This is as of December 18th. That's compared to the projection for this year's marketing year of 410,000. So we're around 63% of the projected total. Now, we're also going to take a look at some crops from South America. Now, these are pictures taken this week from Wilson Marshalling's farm. He's a northeast Brazilian corn and soybean grower in the state of Piauí. Now, as we take a look at these crops, you'll see that the soybeans, for the most part, are in a pod filling crop development stage. Now, Wilson was telling us this week that he's farming about 3,200 acres of soybeans. That's 3,200 acres of soybeans, about 1,800 acres of corn. He plants his corn about 20-inch rows. We'll take a look at that in just a moment. The expectation is for harvest to begin for his soybean crop in mid-February. So as you take a look at these photos, again, just taken last week, they are developing just nicely. The soil is full of moisture. According to Wilson, they had only about 5 days of sunshine, otherwise plenty of rain in the last 10 to 12 days. So again, this is a farm in the northeastern part of the country of Brazil. He just finished all of his planting just last week, but you see the crop is in different development stages, but most of it is in the pod filling stage in Brazil. Again, the moisture is fine. The weather forecast is also favorable for Brazil and Argentina's crops. This is one of Wilson Marshalling's cornfields, and he obviously just had some emergence not too long ago. This is one of his later planted cornfields, but this one, of course, is doing rather well. Again, corn planted in 20-inch rows, and he expects to harvest in May. His corn crop will be harvested in May. So wanted to show you just the, really what the market is seeing or expecting. Record large crop coming out of Brazil this year, about 180 million metric tons possibly. That's the latest estimate. So it's going to put some pressure on the market as we go forward. But want to thank Wilson Marceline for those photos. Again, most of that crop in the flowering stage and pod filling stage for his farm. Now, marketing-wise, Wilson was telling us the old crop has already been almost entirely sold. About 30% of the new crop in his area has already been marketed. So we'll see what happens. Some farmers in the Mato Grosso area, that's in the center west of the country, have already started harvesting their soybean crop. So Brazil has a very wide-ranging harvest window and planting window as far as that goes. So there's no surprise that some of those farmers are already harvesting as we start January. Now, drier weather is headed for Brazil this weekend into early next week. Now, for Argentina, the long-term consensus is for drier conditions, but temperatures are expected to cool down. So again, crops right now receiving favorable weather heading into 2026. A little bit of news coming out on Wednesday. China announced it will slap a 55% tariff on beef imports beginning in 2026 and lasting for 3 years on some of its major suppliers, Brazil, Australia, and the U.S. China is trying to protect its domestic cattle industry, recovering recently from oversupply. Cattle, hog, and poultry producers, listen up. If your livestock have scours, Imogene Ingredients sell a product called Pharmatan that stabilizes the digestive process. It can save your animal, increase immunity levels, and improve general health. Decrease your scour cases today by contacting Imogene Ingredients at 515-745-1639. Visit imogeneingredients.com and tell them Happy New Year from us, all right? Be sure to subscribe and like Your World in Agriculture for more farm content. I'm Mike McGinnis.